Hi Scorpio, welcome in your monthly reading for the month of August. Let's see what is up with you, what's the energy. Let's get started, Scorpio. August for Scorpio, how is it going for you? Scorpio in August. Okay, we have Two of Cups. What else? We have Eight of Swords. Okay, so you're having some kind of crisis about certain commitment in your life. It might be relationship, it might be business, whatever that really requires your commitment long term. And I feel like you're having a lot of like doubts about it, or maybe a decision to make. In particular, let's see what this is there for you, Scorpio, for August. And we have a Two of Pentacles, definitely a decision to make, definitely something to balance out in this situation. I feel like you're feeling like you're not having much of a choices in the situation, or like you're blinded for them and you don't know where to exactly go in the situation, and you're kind of very unbalanced, you're like in and out. So I feel like you have to kind of like work on the clarity of your mind, because I feel like a lot of it that is blurring your vision is basically you and your overthinking and this thing that is going on inside of you. So maybe it's a good time to kind of balance things out, make a pro and cons lists. But yeah, basically you need a lot of mental clarity at this time, because I feel like it's very clouded. You're being like kind of in this very blurred vision moment where you don't know where to go or what to do about what is happening. Let's see what's the underlying issue under that. Let's see what psychologically is going on for you, Scorpio. And we have a Queen of Pentacles reversed, and we have a Five of Wands. Yeah, there might be a lot of conflicts in this situation, either between this situation and you, or within your head. There's a lot of like confusion, kind of battling with it, fighting, a lot of conflicts inside of you, things not going together as they should, a very big lack of harmony necessary, I'm getting. And this Queen of Pentacles reverse kind of talks to me about codependency. So maybe that's why it's hard for you to make a decision at this time, because you're very codependent maybe to this situation or this person. And so the fact that you kind of reconsider the situation kind of puts your life in a very big kind of like imbalance. Like you see those waves up and down, you know. So it's kind of putting you in this place where you're kind of falling because of lack of balance, but basically there's some kind of codependency you have to the situation, and there's a lot of confusion, battling with the situation. Let's get one more card of clarification what's going on with Scorpio. And we have a Moon, obviously, a lot of confusion, a lot of unfamiliar things going on, but basically you're also feeling like there's certain influences that are influencing your decision. So if you could think about it, I feel like it would be very helpful for your situation right now to basically see what is influencing you while making this decision. Is it something you want, or is it something that you're just codependent on? So that's very important in the situation, that you will notice what are the own influences that are affecting you, that aren't necessarily coming from you and what you want, and from your mind and your heart. So make sure that you will figure out what is going on here. It might also be that the situation is kind of manipulative. The person, or generally the situation, is manipulative. And it's kind of messing with your thoughts. There's just some kind of confusion, and you have to figure it out on yourself. What is this thing that is manipulating you in this situation? Is it worry? Is it fear? Is it codependency, right? And codependency can be about anything, really. It might be about someone having something important to you. It might be you having to codepend on someone financially, or any really other way. And maybe that is what's making you feel like you don't have any other option, and you have to stay in this situation, in this commitment, because it seems like you don't have any more options due to this codependency you have on the situation or on this person. But there's definitely something influencing and manipulating the way you kind of reconsider the situation, so have that deeply in mind. Let's see, Scorpio for August, what else is going on here? We have King of Wands. So you have to kind of know what you're doing in this sense. You have to we have the Empress and we have a Four of Cups. So this Empress here tells me exactly what I was talking about, which is you have to reconsider and make your decision based on purely what you want. This card speaks about this woman not going for money or pride or man's approval, but she basically just goes for this one flower that she has an adoration for. So while you're making the decision in your life, basically make sure that this decision is based on what you value and what is important to you and what makes you happy, not what you should care about, not what you're codependent on. So especially financially here, I'm getting like a thing. Don't make a decision based on finances, money, any gains from the situation, because those might be exactly the thing that keeps you codependent of a situation, even though maybe you're not happy with it or maybe you want to leave it, you know. So just make sure the decision is not based on the gains you're getting or what you should be doing in this situation. Make sure it's a very pure decision. And with this King of Wands, it tells me that you should be very aware on what you invest your energy in this month. What do you put your energy and action and will and intention into? Okay? Make sure that your action is very pure and comes from you, not from any delusions, manipulations, codependency. And Four of Cups obviously tells us about you having to take your time for reflecting, you having to take your time to have some quiet time with yourself, due to especially this unclarity of mind you might be having in this month. Just to balance yourself out, at least in your own mind and feelings. So make sure you will take that time, you will distance yourself in a huge amount from the situation that is going on with you. It might be situation, it might be person, it might be anything really, but make sure that you're distancing yourself completely from the situation, that you're being in an independent zone, so you can see what actually serves you and what is just you being codependent on something. So make sure you're taking that time alone and make sure that you're reflecting and doing a pros and cons list and reflecting on what is right, what's wrong, what is like bringing you value and what is not, basically. Okay, I feel like you might be needing a card from this deck, which is a deck for like truth. So let's see. Also, I'm getting like a sidetrack to Virgo energy. So maybe if you had like a Virgo moon or Virgo rising, you might be finding the Virgo reading also appropriate for your situation. Just a sidetrack I'm getting. Scorpio for August. And we have a Knight of Wands. What does Scorpio needs to know in August? What does Scorpio needs to know in August? Ace of Swords. And Six of Pentacles. Okay. Also with the Six of Pentacles, I'm getting here like the thing, especially with the Two of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, that maybe there needs to be more sharing in a way. Maybe there needs to be like more exchange going on. It might be about communication, it might be about generally sharing something, but basically try to have more exchange. Don't close yourself off to things necessary in a sense of communication, because those things have to be talked about if it's something on your mind and you have something to communicate from your side. The situation might be unclear because maybe there's not enough of the communication here. Maybe there's not enough of you communicating how you feel about things, and maybe that's why it's blurry. not only you, but also situation itself. There's not enough of exchange, there's not enough of communication going on. There's a lot of unfamiliarity, a lot of unknown. It feels like nothing in the situation is being brought to the light, okay? So it's important that this will be brought up, okay? Here you see the full moon, you see? There's a lot of full moons here in this deck, in this reading, but generally try to bring up of things to the light. If you have something to communicate, don't keep it to yourself, tell it, and expect the other side to also communicate with you clearly, because there's a lot of in the situation that's going on wrong, and there's a lot of conflicts because there's not enough of exchange and communication. There's not enough of union. It's just there's this big separation of two things just rambling around. But it might be that you're right now very unclear minded because you don't know anything about the situation, but maybe even communicating from one side might bring in some clarity. But yeah, basically try to communicate more of the things you're maybe closed off to talk about, or maybe that you're not saying generally. But make sure that you do it after you have this time for a reflection for yourself, so you have the things kind of cleared up in your mind. But try not to believe in certain things unless you don't clarify them, but also be aware of any manipulations or toxic situation right now in your life. Things are very imbalanced. Things are like up and down, you know. There might be a lot of fights, there might be a lot of miscommunication. So look out for that, look for miscommunication. But yeah, if there's anything to be shared, make sure that's being shared, especially in any relationship situation. Communication at this time is very important. Sharing your insights, sharing how you feel in a non-aggressive way, in a non-codependent way. So make sure you're being very clear about what you communicate and don't hide anything because of this codependency to anything. But we have Ace of Swords. That means that something has to go, okay? You might be knowing what it is, but basically there's something about the situation, maybe not necessarily the situation itself that has to go, but there's something about the situation that basically has to be killed, okay? There's something about the situation that just has to go. You have to get rid of it to be clear-minded. This card specifically talks about something has to go, something has to be cleared up from the situation in order to keep going. And as I'm saying, it might not be necessary about the situation itself, but something in it. Okay, so something in it, something is not okay with it. You have to figure out what it is. It might be just this miscommunication, this unknown, this thing that is basically playing with your mind about it, and you just have to bring a light on it. But yeah, basically there's a lot of pressure on taking actions rather than, you know, being in your head. So make sure that you're having like a proper action towards the situation and you're actually making some action instead of just sitting and being stuck in your head. That is very important in this month for you, Scorpio. Let's get some spiritual advice. Again, Magician, Will. Again, we have the same contribution, which is making action. Okay, there's maybe certain action that has to be done, certain decision, but just have in mind that you are capable of doing anything you want at this period of time. Okay, so it's about having courage to do something about the situation. So if there's something you specifically want to do about the situation, you should go for it. You should stop sitting in your mind and overthinking the situation. Just go and do it. If it's about communication, even better, go for it. In all means, go and communicate something you want to communicate for a while. We have a Four of Jewels. And one more card for Scorpio for August. And we have a Devil. Yeah, basically stop playing around, stop putting the mask on. I feel like there's a big push on you trying to put a mask on. Maybe there's a lot of like hiding, closing off, a lot of like keeping things away also. So I feel like, Scorpio, if there's anything kind of like going on with you, maybe if you're pretending something or you're not really telling the whole truth about the situation, if you're basically trying to hide or observe a situation from the other point of view instead of contributing in your authentic self, that might have to go. That might be the thing that has to go also. So make sure you're authentic in the situation and you just don't hide behind the mask just to not include yourself in the situation, because maybe you try to keep your distance and look at it from the other perspective, maybe from the distance, you're taking your step back and you're trying to think about it clearly while away, but at the same time it keeps you away from actually being authentic and communicating and being included in the situation. And standing away from a situation you're in, like for example a relationship, will not make it resolve itself. It will just keep you away from the situation. It will just keep you closed off in your overthinking mode, and you're basically not there. You're just trying to overthink what you know at the moment, and you're keeping yourself in that state of tension and confusion. So it will be very important for you in this month to actually step forward and make action, do a proper communication with the person or with the situation that is going on, or with any commitment really that is going on in your life right now that you're kind of having some confusion about. So it's also about seeing the better light in the situation. That's what I'm getting. I feel like there's so much confusion, so much negativity around this thing that is going on, very a result of conflicts. And I feel like maybe you need to step forward and see kind of the good in the situation. That's also important, to not get into the cycle of negativity and overthinking and judging the situation when you might not know necessarily the whole truth about it. So Scorpio, for August, let's see one more card of Oracle to wrap the reading. Wow, okay, that's too much, but we got the card on the table, which is dreams. And with this Four of Jewels, I feel like the main card for you, Scorpio, for the month of August is to basically manifest a good outcome of the situation and have clear mind about your goal towards the situation. So I feel like the main point for you in this month is to basically find your goal, find a clear path towards what you want, especially with this Magician. It might be for you just a journey to figure out what you really want, because there might be also a lot of lack of clarity because you don't know what you want in the first place. So maybe there might be this commitment, but you don't know if you want it in the first place. And the decision, maybe you're having trouble with it because you don't know what you want in the first place. So figure out, what do you want to do? Purely, no context. Just figure out, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want? Where do you want to put your energy? What action do you want to make in your life? There's a big lesson here about having to stop hiding and stepping back from life and actually going and doing something. So it's very important for you to figure out what you want and go for it. With having clear mind, it will be easier for you to make any decisions in your life. So that's the lesson for you for this month. That's something very important, Scorpio, is to figure out what you want and start to manifest it. Because this situation is here supposed to teach you to figure out, what do you want. And there might be a lot of confusion in the first place because you don't know what you want in the first place. There's a lot of confusion. And maybe because exactly you don't know what you want, you're being drawn from one corner to another. You're being like, going in quotes in the flow, but in a more negative way. You're just basically being dragged around by whatever happens because you don't know what you want. You don't have a clear path and you go with it. You just go here and here and it's like a zigzag. So I feel like that's a very important part of this month, especially with this King of Wands. It's about knowing what you want and knowing how to do it. So I feel like that's the biggest lesson for you, Scorpio, in this month. The biggest red flag you should look out for is knowing what you want. Do you know what you want? And Anyway, that's all I have for you, Scorpio, for this month of August. I hope it helped you. I hope it could brought you some clarity. Let me know how's your month going, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great month.